When you make music, you have this really, really amazing little moment where you make it and then it's yours and nobody else in the world knows that it exists. Nobody else knows that you've made it. You haven't even decided whether you're ever going to let anybody know about it, and you just enjoy it on your own and it's just yours. And I realized that those moments actually were making the best material. I specifically remember finishing Everything Is Alright, which was on pause, and that was like middle of the night sort of thing. And just listening to it for ages and ages and ages and just enjoying it and totally like... When I was doing rounds, that's when I became very conscious of this idea that it was important to put myself into it that much and try and cherish these kind of like private moments I had with the music. Best bits of the records were when maybe kind of 1 o'clock in the morning sitting in my underpants, you know, having a snack, suddenly being like, I want to try and make something to listen to sort of thing, and where I'd find myself making music very quickly. Maybe I might make a track in like half an hour, and then I might just sit and listen to it for like 2 hours, just because I'm enjoying it so much. It feels silly to me sometimes when somebody says to me, oh, can you come and do this today? And me be like, no, I'm working. Because part of me always thinks, well, I don't work, I don't have a job of any sort, I've never ever worked. That's not what's going on here at all. The time when I made rounds, I realise now, was an incredibly relaxed time in my life. I was getting up at like lunchtime, you know, and I'd get up and I'd literally watch like 6 episodes of Dawson's Creek and then make a song. And that was like my day-to-day routine. Every single day, like just getting out or go see friends. And then nowadays, everything's way hectic in my life. And the fact that I can work on music in the moments that I get some sort of like break from everything, peace and quiet on a laptop, has become the kind of way for me to do it and still have this sort of integration into my sort of day-to-day life. The first thing that I made for rounds was Unspoken, and I remember this so vividly. I was on the Eurostar from Paris going to London, and I put together the piano loop and the drum loop, and I just listened to that for the entire journey. Just this one, you know, kind of like 5 seconds, probably less, probably like 3-4 second piece of loop of music. And I put it together and I was like, that's brilliant, I love it. And I just listened to it for the whole journey. You know, I hear Unspoken or whatever, and I think about exactly what was going on with my life at that time when I did the journey from Paris and everything. And nobody else can work any of this stuff out, but I know, yeah, I can listen back to old records and I can remember what was happening at the exact time that I did a lot of these tracks, you know. So I met my wife while I was making rounds, and I think for me, I hear myself kind of falling in love with her in the middle of the whole thing. And when I called the song My Angel Rocks Back and Forth, I remember calling Catherine My Angel at the time. I remember hanging out with her and just naming the song straight away. I remember hearing it and thinking it's so kind of pretty and kind of lush, and I'm clearly super kind of loved up to make something like that. You know, titling it, I'm like, it was definitely for her. And then my sister, I had a very kind of close relationship with my sister around the time I was making the record as well. Her influence on the records at that time was really big to me, because she was into kind of like ska punk and stuff like that at the time, like not listening to any electronic music, but I was kind of testing all this music out on her. And I remember spending an afternoon with her and making spirit fingers while she was there at the house. And I remember talking to her about how it was quite crazy in comparison to the other music made on the records. It's much faster than any of the other songs, and a bit kind of anarchic. And I remember her hearing it and her being like, what are you doing? Like, this is very kind of annoying. And this discussion with her about whether I could get away with it in the middle of this record or not, whether it was going to kind of ruin it. So she was staying in my house, and she would like want to sleep in the morning all the time, but she had just a bed on the floor in the room where I made the music. And I'd come in the morning and open all the blinds and stuff and be like, get up. And one of the days I came in and I started the microphone recording, and then I came in and woke her up. And the sound is on the album in that track first thing. If you listen to it on the headphones, you hear like a roller blind, and then you hear her go like, no, 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 no. I seem to think or believe that if it's in there, if the records have got this like kind of backbone of reality to them, that people hear the records and explore them, and I think they get a sense of that somehow. I think I listen to other people's music that I really like, and you do try and imagine what these people are like and what their life's like, and you get hints, you know, maybe on the sleeve notes, or you read a biography or something. Getting those little bits of knowledge kind of expands the story, but if the story's there at the base of it all, it seems to give the records another dimension.
When I met Steve, I was at a point of feeling maybe like a little frustrated almost with what I was doing on my own. I felt like I wanted to branch out a bit, and he could sit down at his drums, he could play everything that I thought was magical in the universe. He could just do it right there in front of me in a way that I know and understand is not a possibility for me. But suddenly it was there, and he was offering it to me to add to my music, and it was like this moment of just like, wow, there it is. Steve's understanding of like arrangement and dynamics and things in what he did was unbelievable. He was a really amazing person as well. His attitude towards music and his understanding of it, and I've never learned so much almost so quickly. I just knew from that first weekend that everything had changed. Like the music I made from then on would never ever be the same. My attitude towards myself changed in terms of what I thought I was capable of, and things, you know, totally changed. Nothing's more important than moving forward. Miles Davis in particular is someone who had that sort of attitude. He was like, it's more important to work on a new idea, you know, and that makes a lot of sense to me. That seems to me to be a way that you can be a musician and create a lifetime's worth of music, rather than trapping yourself in a situation of always trying to do a better version of something. You know, I feel the need to be constantly getting on with music because, you know, it's something that it makes sense to me. It gives me a sense of a reason to live. You know, you have those moments and think like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I even on a planet? At that point I realised that, you know, the thing that just seems to feel natural and always makes sense to me is music. So I just kind of think of it as, you know, I just think of it as life.